Are you wondering what the mythic abilities are good for? Which one is good, which one is bad? In this video, I will try to lead you through all the mythic abilities and what I recommend doing with them. If they're good, if they're bad, I will try to do it as fast as possible. No fluff, so here we go. Thank you for being here and enjoy. Abundant Arcane Pool. Straightforward. If you're a Magus, if you have Arcane Pool, this one increases how much you can use equal to your mythic rank. Abundant Bane. Pretty much the same. If you have Bane, it increases how many times you can use Bane. This is great, especially as an Aeon. This stacks with Aeon, so you will have even more Aeon Bane. Abundant Casting. It increases how many level 1, 2, and 3 spells you can cast by 4. It's a must-have for almost all casters. And I'm going to categorize these with all the Abundant Casting abilities. If you choose them, you get 4 more spells. Incredible. Must-have. It's super spoiling players. You get to cast more spells, but rest, nothing more to discuss. Abundant Key, same resource management ability for monks. Your key pool increases by the number of points equal to your mythic rank. More key, more abilities, more strength, more power. Abundant Smite, again, pretty much the same. I'm trying not to waste too much time on these. You can cast Smite more times as your paladin. Keep in mind these, the later you take them, the more use you have. Obviously on mythic rank 1, it's not worth taking these because +1 is not going to be that big of a difference. But if you get +3 or +4 now, that's significant. Always a chance. This is highly undervalued. There are cases where this is very good. How does rolling work? If you roll 1, you will always miss no matter what. If you roll a 20, you will hit no matter what. These are the rules of D20. 1 and 20 are always fixed on what they do. And there are cases where this can work. For example, there are characters like Kinetic Knight or even any touch attack character where the enemy's touch armor is very easily bypassed and just defeated. You can have a +35 on your touch attack while the enemy only has like +20 something, and then you roll a 1 and it's still a critical miss. So there are characters, for example, my last build, the Kinetic Knight, where this was a very good ability because I could only miss if I rolled a 1, and I chose always a chance, and I could no longer miss. Like I had 0 chance of missing. And thus, for example, in Aeon, I kept dispelling every hit. Any means necessary. Hell Knight's attacks are treated as good aligned. I think this is not useful. There are multiple ways of bypassing damage reduction, and you can have multiple cleric abilities as well to bypass that. I think this is a waste. Archmage Armor, overpowered, very powerful. If you want to be tanky and you're not using armor, you're not armored, or you're a wizard, Archmage Armor gives a bonus equal to your mythic rank to your Mage Armor to a +14. Super good. Ascendant Element, pretty straightforward. You choose an element and enemy can no longer be immune to that. You will do damage no matter what. So this bypasses all elemental immunities. So just choose the element you want to deal with and you never have to worry about immunities at enemies. Ascendant Summons. Your summoned creatures will be more powerful. They gain all the attributes equal to half your mythic rank +1, and their attacks now ignore damage reduction, full damage reduction. This is a must-have for summoners. Without this, don't even try to do summoner build. It is a must-have. Battle Meditation, a little bit underwhelming. It can be good, I think, at the beginning of the game. This can be good to just buff your characters, especially if you don't have a bard. But in my opinion, this gives morale bonus. There are much better ways to give yourself morale bonuses and better as well. So Battle Meditation, I think, is underwhelming. It should be better. It should be better than it is. It's just not enough. Beneficial Curse, fantastic for any character that uses curses. You can get a free one, but without actually getting the penalties. So you can become immune to fatigued, you can remove the penalty from armors, etc., depending on what you choose, but you don't actually get the penalties from a curse. So it's pretty much a blessing. Best Jokes, fantastic if you're using an enchantment character. The game has multiple items that increase your enchantment difficulty class. For example, Ember has a fantastic build that I will soon release. She can be a face sorcerer, get Elven bonuses, Face Sorcerer bonuses, multiple item bonuses, stacked all on enchantment, cast Hideous Laughter, and boom, jump between enemies. It's basically an AoE stun, so very good if you're going for Hideous Laughter build. Bloodline Ascendance, similar to Beneficial Curse. These bloodlines have incredible immunities and fantastic bonuses. Basically, you immediately get your final bloodline bonus. Multiple of them can be very good. Just for example, one of us from Undead Bloodline can give you immunity to cold, paralysis, and sleep. You get +4 morale bonuses on saving throws made against spells and spell-like abilities cast by Undead. 5 damage reduction. You can just get all these bonuses and and be done with it. You immediately get the final bonus. So free passives for your characters if you can choose them. Boundless Healing. Your healing is no longer affected by common limitations. What does this mean? All your spells will be now reach, so you don't have to go and touch your party members to heal. So they are ranged heals, everything, and they remove the limitations from spells. If you read the healing spells, they will say that they give +1 healing per caster level to your healing, but they have a maximum of +5, +20, etc. That +5, +20 limit is removed. So they will be able to, as you level up, heal much, much more. Brutality Incarnate. If you're doing natural attacks, this is a must-have. Then your natural attacks now ignore all damage reduction at enemies. It can be very good. Like, there's lots of damage reduction in the enemies, but actually, I take it back. It's not a must-have, but it's very good to have. It's very good to have, at least, because natural attacks have limited buffs in the game, and especially I think none of the buffs really work on natural attacks that would ignore damage reduction. So check out your spells if you can do that. I think because of that, this is a must-have for natural attacks. Cleaving Shot, super powerful. What it does is if you deal a critical damage or you kill a target with your ranged weapon, your ranged weapon damage is dealt to all enemies in 10 feet radius. It's not just the weapon damage, which is like 1 to 5, but it is your final buffed damage with the character. So the final number that you see on your character sheet, which can be 50, 40, or 100, or whatever, especially with Deadly Shot, very, very powerful, incredibly powerful. So this is a no-brainer. It's very good for ranged characters. Defensive Study. Very straightforward. If you're a character that can study target, the same bonus that you get for your attack rolls, you get for your armor class as well from that target. So if the same target attacks you. Dimensional Retribution. If you're targeted by an enemy spell, you can teleport that spellcaster as a move action for 2 rounds. This could be amazing if it worked for AoEs, but I tested it at least, and it only works if you're specifically targeted, which is usually a niche. Most of the time you will be targeted by AoEs, so I don't find this that useful, unfortunately. Distracting Shots, no-brainer again, very useful. If you hit an enemy with a ranged attack, they get a penalty to their armor class, which equals half of your mythic rank for a round. So it's a free debuffing tool for your ranged characters. They hit with their bow, they reduce the enemy AC, it's easier for everyone to hit them. Very good. And as far as I know, actually this can work even with alchemists and kineticists, but let me know in the comments if you know for sure. So this even works, I think, with certain ranged touch attacks. A Domain Zealot, it's a must-have in my opinion to any cleric in a party, especially if you use Community Domain. It will make your abilities instant. I mean, it will make your domain abilities a swift action. So if you're Community Domain, for example, you basically get a free swift action to buff your attacks by +10 or instantly put down Guarded Heart. It just makes those buffs that only last around swift. So you get a free action, or rather a swift action in game terms, every turn that you can use. Very useful. Elemental Barrage, one of the more powerful caster and elemental abilities you can take, especially because of a pet you get late in the game. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but there will be a pet, a familiar that you can use that gives your attacks a random element every single time you attack. So in Act 5, you basically can get a fixed elemental barrage on your character, and each time you deal damage with a different element, you get 1d6 per mythic rank divine damage, which is unresistible. Extremely good if you can make sure that you attack with multiple different energies every round, as it's going to be unresistible bonus damage. And as I said, Act 5, you get a free familiar. Emergency help, currently as far as I know bugged, but other than that, a super useful and underlooked ability. If anyone in your party is under 30 hit points, you can teleport to them as a move action, and your next healing spell or ability is going to be empowered and maximized. And this is supposed to work for channel positive energy or any of your healing spells, potentially even against undead. And it will make all your healing spells super powerful and overpowered, especially combined with Boundless Healing. But right now, as far as I know, this doesn't work well, so wait for fixes. Enduring spells, must-have nowadays. It's not totally necessary, but it will save you a lot of headaches and boring buffing. It increases the buffs, the time of your buffs. You probably know that, so shouldn't waste too much time on this. Enforced Vigor. Very niche, but I actually have ideas. I haven't tried this out yet. I have some ideas that I would really like to try out. If you damage an ally, they gain a +2 mythic bonus on attack and damage rolls and +1 mythic bonus on all saving throws. And these last equal number of rounds half to your mythic rank. Now, this doesn't seem much, but I do want to try out the build where you go, for example, channel negative energy, and then you damage all your party members and we all get a buff. Which is a significant buff, especially early game. I don't know if this stacks. If it doesn't stack, it's not bad. If it stacks, this is amazing, and I really want to try it out. So sooner or later, I will try it out. Let me know if you already have seen this. Ever Ready, very niche, but if you make use of it, it can be very good. There are multiple ways to do multiple attack of opportunities per round. If you're a rogue with Opportunist, and I think you attack every time someone else, you flank an enemy with attacks, then you also attack again. Or if someone crits and you both have outflanked, then you get an attack of opportunity. If the enemy moves away, you get an attack of opportunity. There are multiple ways of getting multiple attack of opportunities per turn, and this increases the effectiveness of it, and you can also make +2 attacks of opportunity, because normally how many times you can do an attack of opportunity is limited. So this is very niche, but can be very powerful, like with Seize the Moment as well, that increases how many times you can. So very niche, but requires very specific builds, and it can be very good then. Everlasting Judgment, must have, I think, for Inquisitors. Now you can use your judgments infinite times per day. This means you will have fixed sacred bonuses every single fight. Must have for Inquisitors. You don't have to worry about saving your judgments. Expose Vulnerability. Frankly, I haven't tried this out yet, but I think it can be very good for your ranged characters, especially if you have lots of attacks and rapid shot. This means if you deal damage 3 times against the same target, then they will get 1d6 per 2 mythic ranks divine damage. It's again fixed damage. Why not? It can be pretty good. So what would that mean at level 10? That would be a 5d6. It can be quite significant. Wouldn't be my first choice, but again, free damage. Favorite Metamagic, super useful, especially if you use Metamagic. Well, only if you use Metamagic, but it reduces the cost of it by 1. So if you're a Magus, any type of caster, even if you're a healer, because it works on Quicken, and Quickened healing is extremely powerful, I would definitely use this. Then you can reduce the cost of your Metamagic, so use it. This is useful for anyone with a spellbook if you make use of Metamagic. Full Reservoir is the same as all the resource management abilities. Let's not spend too much time on it. It increases how many arcane points you have as an Arcanist that you can use before resting. Greater Abundant Casting and Enduring Spells, we already talked about them. It's just their increased version. Impossible Domain, must have with, with almost all characters that can make domains, mostly because you can take Community Domain if you already don't have it, which is probably the most powerful domain. So you can still roleplay or use any other character that you want, and if you can take Impossible Domain Community, that enables you one of the most powerful buffs in the game, which is +8, +9 sacred bonus to saving throws and attacks. it's basically a must-have on higher difficulties as well. And just generally, it's super useful. Then Abundant Casting, yes. Inspirational Leader, I try to choose at least one character per playthrough where you get bonuses to your whole party, to your initiative, and saving throws against mind-affecting effects. I think it's useful. I like to take it, but not everyone values initiative that much. But even then, the saving throws can be good. Kinetic Overcharge, must have for especially ranged, not must have for ranged kineticists. Your gather power is now reducing your burn cost by 1 additional point. Kineticists are already overpowered. This will help you be overpowered even faster. If you know how Kineticist works, you know must have. Last Stand, I never use this anymore because it's so broken. Last Stand does not let your character die once per day for 2 rounds if your health reaches 0. So you can just send in your warrior, and if you have enough damage and you can kill anything in 2 rounds, then you're not going to die and you will be done. This is just this is God mode for 2 rounds. Anything can happen in 2 rounds. You can heal yourself up to maximum in 2 rounds. It's God mode for 2 rounds. Limitless Rage. You have Limitless Rage as a barbarian. That's it. No longer limited. You can use it as many times as you want. Magic Nullification. It is quite niche. It also dispels your own buffs. So a lot of people don't like to use it. When it works, it is amazing and it will make any fight a cakewalk. Other than that, it might not be that useful. So for certain fights, it's a must-have, and I think it really makes the game easier. Other fights, it's not that useful. But you can, for example, bait out enemies with a character who has Magic Nullification and waste their spells. Master Shapeshifter, must-have for Shapeshifters, and if you're using Kitsune, you can be a Kitsune, turn into human form, which counts as polymorph, and you get a +4 bonus to all your physical ability scores, so strength, dexterity, and constitution. Must-have for Kitsune characters and must-have for polymorph characters. It's like +4 to your bonuses, to your character bonuses attributes is immense, and it stacks with everything because it is a polymorph effect. So it stacks even with form bonus. Mythic Charge, super powerful, especially for Cavaliers who just live with charging. Each time you charge, you deal additional 1d6 divine damage, so unresistible per mythic rank. That can be a 10d6. That's incredible bonus damage, so very powerful. Mythical Beast, it's going to give half of your mythic ranks +1 to strength, dexterity, and constitution to your pets, and now they also ignore damage reduction against everything. Overinfused Blasts, again, for kineticists, pretty much must have, except if you're a kinetic knight maybe. Now you can have 2 infusions on your kinetic blast at once, so you can increase damage, and you can also have Bowling Infusion to trip them, or whatever else you fancy. Powerful Shadows, if you like illusion magic, especially the shadows and illusion elemental spells, then you can use Powerful Shadows. I personally don't like this so much. Those are not bad spells, but I just like to go for normal magic if I really want to go for shadows. But this makes them 20% more real, so they do 20% more damage, I believe. Ranging Shots, I think must have for ranged characters. Each time you miss, you get a stacking +1 bonus on attacks against the same target, which can go up to +10 at the very end. It's incredible, and even if you hit, it only reduces by -1. So if it stacks up, it's pretty much going to stay up. It's just a really, really good ability, especially because ranged characters usually attack a lot. Rupture Restraints, 3 times per day, you automatically dispel any effects on this list. Very good, though there are situations in the game where you just get spammed with abilities and you will waste it in no time, especially swarms or characters that like where they attack 4 of you at the same time and they all do some AoE effects such as the crystals or any dazing character against swarm. So it can be wasted, but it's also super good. Second Bloodline, you can choose a new Bloodline if your character uses Bloodlines. It's very similar to the Blood Rager one, except you get all the benefits from this one. Same with all the other bloodline points here. So you get all the benefits, not just the final level 20 point. Second mysteries, if you're an oracle, just like the curses, the bloodlines, you get the benefits of another mystery that you can choose. So if you have one that you would like to take, or you have multiple that you want to take, then you can choose multiple. So this can be very useful as well, depending on if you like it or not. Same with second spirit, but that's for shamans. So exactly the same. You can choose multiple. The bigger they are, underlooked, but I think I like it personally. But this is definitely the final feat I take on ranged characters. You get a bonus to your attack rolls with ranged weapons equal to the penalty to armor class the target receives for their size, which I think is -2, -4, and -6 if they are giant, I think. So it's not tremendous, but you know, you do get -2, +2, +4. So as a final bonus, it can be good. But this is probably the least useful one, but it's good for ranged characters. Throw Elixir. This is for alchemists. If you have seen my alchemist guide, then it's very useful. For example, with infusions, you can put personal buffs on others. So for example, you can true strike others, not just yourself. And if you use Throw Elixir, now you can true strike anyone in your party 30 feet from you in ranged and give a +20 and side bonus to your characters. This is incredible, especially if you make use of infusions as an alchemist. Thundering Blows. First, I thought it's really good. Now, not so much. If you miss the target, you deal 2d6 + 1d6 per 2 mythic rank sonic damage to all enemies in 10 feet radius. It can be good at the beginning, especially against swarms or tougher fights, but frankly, it becomes useless very fast. So it's good to make early game useful, especially if you have a tank that misses a lot. But overall, I would prefer to choose something that helps me hit. And let's go into something I've already taken here, which is Leading Strike. I would rather take this. What this does is, if you attack melee any target, then you leave a mark. And the next time someone else hits the target, they do get a 1d6 per mythic rank divine damage to them. So this is much better. You actually do unresistible damage, and it stacks when and it happens when you hit the target. So I think overall Leading Strike is just way better. Even though it's not AoE, but again, it's up to you. I just find Thundering Blows not so good. Unrelenting Assault, not bad. Every time you attack a target, the same target, each time you hit, you gain a stacking +2 bonus damage roll to a +10, and it stacks until the end of combat. Actually, you don't have to attack the same target. I just read now. +10 damage, I mean, it's good. It's +10 damage, similar to Hammer the Gap. This is a little bit better. So if you need a +10 damage, which is not bad, then take it. But I wouldn't prioritize this, so it's not amazing. It's okay. Unstoppable. I think this one is incredibly good, especially early game. Anytime you would be paralyzed, you become staggered. If you would become nauseated, you become sickened. Instead of shaken, you become frightened. So it pretty much changes how some spells work, some debuffs on you work, and especially because Paralyze is quite nasty, this can help your frontliners a lot. So it reduces debuffs on you. I think very useful, especially on Last is Lent and harder difficulties. Unstoppable, and the other one, which was Rupture Restraints, can really help you get out of tough situations. Witch Wandering Hex, I think this is not great. This is useless in my opinion. There are already, if you want good hexes with your witch, you will already take them. There's not that many amazing hexes, frankly. There are a lot of good ones, but you will take them anyway. I really don't think this is that useful. Maybe you can take it. Nah, I really don't see how it can be good. So let me know in the comment section at least if you think you found a good way of using this. And I'm out of breath. I tried to do it faster. It was already 23 minutes like this. I hope you got all the basics. I hope this video helps. Honestly, if I missed anything, I'm sorry, because this is so long and I wanted to make it as fast as possible and putting as much information as possible in a relatively short video so that you don't fall asleep by listening. So thank you so much for your patience. I really hope it helped. Ask any questions in the comments if you have something. If you like the video, subscribe, like, leave a thumbs up if you fancy. Thank you for being here. I will continue releasing videos. Thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate all of you. Love. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you all in the next video.